So in this video, I want to show you how to automate an API. Actually, I want to have this in brief. Uh, I will not go into detail here. I just want to show you some APIs first. If you're new to API, please study about API. Uh, in order to deal with API, actually, you want to have some sort of good programming knowledge as well. So first of all, if you want to play around in the internet, there are some fake APIs, fake API providers. So one is this instance vectors net. So when you come to instance vectors net, you can find a lot of things here, right? Just go to fake REST API. There you can see some APIs regarding airlines and passengers. So I'll get an example from here and I'll try to quickly show you how to build up a Postman script first, then how to build up an automation based on REST assured. So let me show you how you are going to create a Postman script on this against this API. So let me first explain a couple of APIs here. So in this particular API, you can see API instance of those.NET VI Airlines, read all airlines details. Let's see, let's go into details. So once you hit that API, you will get a response like this. You will get the details of the airlines, the ID, name, country, logo, slogan, headquarters, like this. And let's see how to create an airline. So create airline data. Here you can see a post. When you post this API, you will get, let's see how to post that first. So there's a sample request here. So this is the body of the API that we need to post. When you post this request, you will be able to create an airline, something like this. So that's the basic idea. So let's see how to create an airline. So this is one Postman script that I have created. So you can see that the API is just with those net airlines on the top, and the method of uh, posting is the post, and the body you can see that I have selected the row and JSON application JSON as the type. Then I have given all details in a similar manner that they want us to post the request. So if you are a beginner, please just copy this. I'll show you how to create a new request. I'm going to create that in the same collection. So I'm having name like demo airline create. Right, okay. See, go to there. So it is a post one. Since I already had the body, I select binary. It's funny, it's get that already. Okay, this is okay. Body, and I will paste that here. I changed something here. 1211, so that I'm always new. Okay, and the establish 1789. Okay, right. In post, we need to use this API endpoint. Verify it as endpoint. Okay, so let's end it. Right, there is an airline register under the same ID. Okay, in this case, there was the same airline already registered. So let me change that. and send it again. Right, okay. You can see the ID is 1219 and there's another one that they are returning underscore ID, something like a UUID, and you can see the same details that I have posted here. And what happened if I didn't send the ID? So they can send it. You can see without the ID, it will again anyway created the new entry with this underscore ID. This something like a UUID here with that ID. Right. And let's see another endpoint. This is for getting all the airline details. So let's see, let's create that one and say demo get all airline details. Okay, just a get. You don't need to submit anything and just click on them. Okay, cool. Here you can see whole lot of airlines are here, right? So let me go to the bottom. Very bottom, you can see the one that I have created. Okay, cool. So this is how we are going to create Postman scripts, guys. This is really brief. There are some things that you should know about that, how to create Postman scripts when it comes to different scenarios. But this is the high level idea. This is how that you are going to create the Postman scripts. And the other thing, let's see how we are going to create an automation suite for that. Here, I have the same scenario has been automated using REST assured. So there, this is again a sample API solution, guys, not an industrial one. Here also that we have used Maven. In the form, there are some things that I want to show you that I use this JREST assured and JUnit for our test management, as well as this NG also that we have used for sessions. And for APIs, we need to use this fast XML, XML and JavaX XML bind. Right. Given that, now let's see the structure of this program. You can see the similar structure, the main Java and the test Java here. In the main Java, there are two packages and two classes. Right. This is an example of function and example of model of response in the main Java. Let's go into this airline function. In the airline function, that you can see the base URL, the endpoint is mentioned there. It should be endpoint. Anyway, so there you can see an interesting thing that we are using a hash map here. Let's see why we are going to use the hash map. And there's a request specification, which is REST assured given. So here, what we are going to do is we use the REST assured for posting to the endpoint and getting from the endpoint. How we are using this REST assured is that I show you in the example that you can see here. It is used with the given when then concept. Okay, so this request specification is REST assured given, and then you have to give the content type as applicable. Then the body is for example here in the create airline, this is the body, this is the JSON body. To create that JSON body, we have used that hash map. You can see that airline is the hash map. It's map string and string type hash map. So there you can have the key value pairs. So in this JSON, we need the key value pairs. So that's how that we are going to store. So this request is built using this hash map, and we are passing that as the body. And then when post that URL, the endpoint, you are getting a response. So we are checking that response. So this is the basically how you are going to create the airline using REST assured. This is a very brief test, and you can see some good things here that we have used some parameters. We have used some Java documentations. The Java documentations clearly show you how this parameters is working, and you can see there's auto-generated underscore ID as well. You can especially see that I didn't submit any ID here. Right. Let's see what will happen when we are not submitting ID. Again, send. You can see there's in that case there weren't any ID, right? So in this case, you can see that I didn't send any ID, so there's nothing like ID, but this underscore ID is there as UUID, and all the other details are here. To be specific, I change this and see it again. Right, you can see this is the new record and with new UUID. Here also that we have this create line without the ID because sometimes IDs might be duplicated. That's why that I'm just posting without ID here. And you can see there's another method overloaded using the same method, and it has less parameters. That's also possible. In this case, we can just remove something and post it, still posting. You can see, right? So it created a new line. So, right. So in this case, guys, you can see that we can create some airlines, and in the bottom you can see there are some other methods as well. So I will get this get into this method. There you can see that this is for get all the airline details. List down all the airline details. What we have done here is the request specification, which means that REST assured given, and just use the get method. So you know that when we just use this endpoint and have the get method around that, you get all the airline details, right? So all these airline functions has been created here. This means that if we want to create another thing, like for example, if you want to read airline by airline ID or anything related with passengers. Passengers will be another class, guys, but all the airline related things will be related requests will be tracked here. And there you can see another package. Example model response. Why this model response is here? You can see in the top that we have tracked all the JSON properties, which is ID, name, status, message, country, slogan, website established. The funny thing is that it is returning something other than that details, that underscore v0 something. Anyway, it is so tracked. So we are modeling that response into a class. That's what that we are doing here. So all these properties has been set here, and we have get and set methods for all the properties. So at the end, you can see that all the elements are get together and returning in the string JSON string format. So let's go to this align test. This is so that you can see the very simple class. Actually, nothing much of the best practices has been used. just hard coded some values for these elements, then something that you can see that here that we have used SNG asset, protected asset. Soft asset mean that even though that asset failed, the test will be not break. It will continue to the next test until the last test. So you can see at the end that we have a set all method as well. And the other thing is that you can see here that we used logger. Once you run the test, you can see the login infos that mentioned in this test. So what we have done here, there's a method called test add new airline details. In the add new airline details, you can see there's a response, airline function, create airline. So basically that it has called the airline functions, create airline, and pass these parameters. So you know that when it is passed, it will return a response. This response is assigned to this response which is defined here, and here that it has been logged. Then what is happening here? Then after, the elements of this response stored in this airline response object. So in that object, you know that it is have the same model as the response that we are getting when we are creating the new airline. So in the program, yeah, all the elements has been asserted. The ID, the underscore ID, the name, as well as country, website, establish, everything is asserted. The ID here, it is only just verify for is empty or not, but the other things, it is check for the value. Right. There's another method that is just all airlines, that is for that airlines that list down when we use the get method from that endpoint. So at the end, you can see that our familiar JUnit test. In the JUnit test, we have test suite and there we have these two methods list down. So let's run this and see what is happening. Right, okay. We've seen that one method is executed, then the other method is executed. So let's see this details. Established 1999, Note 1, slogan, Sri Lanka. Right, let's change this something. Sri XXX. And this is for 1888. And right. So right click and run it and see whether we are getting that airline details. You can see in the first logger that has been created, and the second log it is returning all the airline details. You can see the new record that has been created here. Right, guys. So since we don't have much time, I have to just conclude here. But guys, when it comes to the Postman or even the API, the rest assured API test, there's a whole lot of things that you should know. And when it comes to API testing, we really need some more sort of programming knowledge as well. You should have good understanding about programming concepts as well as some advanced data structures and how to use hash maps, how to use arrays, how to use the JSONs and the mappings. So you should have a good understanding about these things when we are coming to API testing. So guys, that's about it. Right now we have covered web automation, web UI automation, as well as the API automation. Hope you guys had a good understanding about how to start it. The things that I've shown you are really basics. Please, if you are going to study it, please study it properly. So in our big program, we are going to give you a good understanding about all these areas. Well, I hope you guys enjoy the session as well as gather the information that you were intended to collect within this session. So good evening, guys. Let's meet up again.